Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So it's time to review the iPhone 7 Plus and iPhone 7. So I have the 7 boxed up here because it's not getting very much use, and this is definitely one of my collector items. But I can cover the review for both phones pretty much with this phone because this phone is the better of the two. Difference being the camera is you get an extra camera there pretty much. You get a bigger body and you get a bigger battery, and you get another gig of RAM. So with that being said, it's time for the full review. So when thinking about the iPhone, the build quality and design of the phone is pretty much like every other iPhone's Plus size. They didn't deviate much at all. They changed the cameras here, and they gave us dual cameras. They took away the headphone jack, and that's pretty much it from what I can tell. From just a regular person looking at this phone, it looks just like the iPhone 6s Plus. It's over there somewhere. I don't feel like I want to get it. But, you know, the design of the iPhone 7 Plus is nothing spectacular. There's nothing... the best thing about the new iPhones is this new black color and the jet black color, and that's about it. The designs are identical pretty much to the other ones. So most of the cases are universal for these phones from the older version. And I just think Apple, it's time to do something new. You can't keep doing these baby steps. You have to take risks. You have to. The design in this phone is not horrible, but it's just time for something else. And I rank this design, you know, the camera setup is cool back here because, you know, they had to do that in order to get the system right for the cameras they wanted to put in there. Not a fan of the bump too much because I have to keep this in a case to eliminate that bump, and I like to wear my phones without cases when I'm around the house, so I don't sit it down. I actually sit it this way, face down, so it doesn't scratch the lens up, but pretty much I have to keep it in a case. So the design of this phone is boring to say the least. It's just not exciting. The color is great, but that's about it. It's a very slippery phone. I have to keep it in something in order to get the grip I need, and luckily I have lots of cases. So the design and build quality on here is you know. Now the screen on this phone is it's a 1080p display. It's a really good display, but I would say don't buy into the hype of the Retina, all this other stuff. It's just a 1080p display. It doesn't look any more fantastic than, it actually doesn't look as good as some other 1080p displays I have. It's just it's a good display. You know, I give the build quality on here, I give it about a 5 or so, and the display, it is good, but there's nothing exciting and magical about it like Apple says there is. So I give the display about a 8. You know, for a 1080p display, it is good. But it's not jump out and grab you good, you know. It's not Moto Z Play good. You know, no. The J7, as a matter of fact, my Galaxy J7, I feel like has a better display than this. Because it's a Super AMOLED display, and it's 1080p, but it's Super AMOLED. Pay attention to the technology, guys. I give this display about an 8, because it is good, but it's still not jump out and grab me good, you know. Apple really, you know, they take these baby steps, and it's kind of agitating, you know, especially when I spent what I spent on this, and you know, but I am getting, there are some good points about this. Now, I don't think this video is just going to be to slam the phone, because I've been using this phone as my main phone, my daily driver, since I took it out of the box. Well, I switched between the small one and this one, but once I got this one, it started with the small one, then once I got this one, I took my SIM card and put it into this one. So, the screen, 8, you know. Now here's where Apple stepped it up, and I'll give them credit. Got to give credit where credit is due. The speakers. The speakers on here, there's a speaker in the earpiece there, and there's a speaker on the bottom. These are not dual speakers down here. I actually probably could have done with both speakers down here. That would have probably been even better, because this speaker up here gives it pretty much just treble. So speaker here and speaker here, and it's good. I'll give them credit for that. They did a great job on the speaker setup. But see, the thing is, they're catching up. You know, they're playing catch up. So while it is good, it's a little late. You know, 2 speakers should be just a standard. Even if it's coming out of the bottom, I'll take it. You know, but I give them a huge plus on that. Because it's an iPhone, it gets a 10 for the speakers. Because just having the sound coming out of this phone, it is good, and it's actually better than some other phones I have. A lot of other phones I have in the catalog. Looking at my cheat sheet down here, if you wonder why is Jay looking down? Looks like he's reading. I'm reading my list here. I just have a list, and I didn't want to put it over here, so I put it right here. Like a teleprompter. But as far as features on an iPhone, here you go. There's your feature. This is not a feature-rich phone at all. That's not to be funny. This is just not a feature-rich phone. iPhones are not feature-rich. You want features? Go elsewhere, because this phone is like stock Android. There aren't very many features at all. But with that comes great performance. Yeah, this isn't a feature-rich phone. Thumbs down for the features. Name a feature in the iPhone in the comments, and I'll try it if I haven't already tried it or it's not mentioned in this video. When I say this isn't a feature-rich phone, that just means it doesn't have a lot of useful features to take advantage of all this real estate. Dump this big chin down here, or make it smaller. Chop the top off, I guess, because you got your home button down there. But raise the top up, give us a 5.7-inch display, bump it up. Bump the resolution up to 2K. Give it a try, Apple. Not that we need that, but just for Apple, they're so slow on everything, man. So, but yeah, this isn't a feature-rich phone, but when it comes to performance, here we start to get into some good things about the iPhone. Performance on this thing has been phenomenal. I have not had any problems whatsoever. I'm totally pleased, like a 10 pleased, just a 10. I really am. That pleased with the performance on here. It's really good. No crashing, no drops, no nothing. It's really, really good. And that's just one of the things. They got the A10 Fusion chip in here with 3 gigs of RAM. And for an iPhone, it's kind of like Windows Phone. You don't need all that power because the operating system is optimized perfectly. So, I think it's good. Everything on this phone, like web browsing and texting emails and gaming and all that, I didn't give you guys a gaming review. I stopped doing those gaming reviews because I don't game on my cell phones. I do that on my iPad Pro or my LG tablets or something like that, or my Samsung tablet. That's where I do gaming at. Gaming on a little phone like this it's not, to me, it's not interesting. So it always kind of makes me laugh when I hear people saying, can it do this? Can it play this game? But I guess those are people who don't have an iPad, or, they want to be completely portable. So, yeah, but the performance on here, day-to-day usage, leads to a solid performer. I mean, literally, no complaints about the performance. Now, another place where the phone really shines is the camera. Now, it has these dual camera setups on the back here, and I've done multiple videos on the camera, and, it's a good camera. I'm not that blown away and excited by the camera just because it has 2 cameras. That's the fact. That's the truth. You may be excited about it. It's got the bulk of it. But see, the thing is, that's not nothing new. But it's new to an iPhone. So iPhone users are blown away by this. If you're, and when I say iPhone users, okay, I'm an iPhone user, but I have a bunch of iPhones, but I have more Android phones. I have more of Android. So the thing is, that's not one of the reasons I bought this phone. I didn't buy it for the camera alone. It's exciting, yes, that's exciting. But after you get it, and that's why I do the after the hype videos, it wears off. The camera is just another camera. I don't need to go into all those settings and do the special effects. I just need to have a camera that can take a photo, and when I need it to take a photo, it takes the photo, and it's a good photo. That's all I need. And that's just real world usage. If you want to see all the stuff deep diving down in the cameras, the microns, you're in the wrong video, because I'm an end user, and while I'm not into that, this is a great camera. Is it the best camera? No. By a long shot, no. This isn't the best camera. Will it get the job done for you? Can you print these photos that's taken from this phone and put them on your wall? You sure can. The camera is that good. Now, I am impressed with the zoom capabilities on here, because it has the 10 times zoom, but not just the zoom. It's the fact that when you zoom in, the picture is still pretty much clear. Now, when you look at the commercials that Apple put out about the zoom, that's so far-fetched. I have yet to be able to get a clear picture like that. I would have to put this thing on a tripod to get it that steady and zoom in and barely tap it so the phone doesn't move to get that perfect picture. You remember in the demo that they did in the launch when they were introducing it? You see the guy posing. Those pictures were super clear. You know, they had that thing on 10 stabilizers. No one was holding it like us. And if you're over 45, hitting 50, your nerves is different. So if you're knocking on 50's door, you're not this young person, you're not going to be able to hold. I'm shaking right now. I'm just barely, no. The camera is good, though. It's not jumping down good. It's not smack dab exciting good. I don't go into any of those features. The only feature I use is the zoom. I don't need to do the bokeh effect and all that other stuff. I just want to take a great picture. You know what? The camera gets a 10 to me. It's a great camera. Well, I guess I shouldn't give it a 10 because it's not Galaxy Note quality. It's not Moto Z quality. So I'll retract that. You can't have a 10. You can have about an 8, I guess. Because again, well, I will say the 1080p at 60 frames per second on here, flawless. I really like that. Really like it. 720p also. So, here's another place where the phone really shines is battery. Man, I don't know what to tell you. The battery on this thing is so good. The standby, but that's not just with this phone. iPhones just have really good standby time, and they also have good usage time. I don't have any complaints about the usage. So, I think I've gotten like 38 hours with 9.5 hours of screen on time, or 9.5 hours of usage, and about 38, almost 40 hours of usage. This thing is good. I mean, really good. Is it Moto Z Play good? I don't think so. No, the Moto Z Play knocks down about 14 hours with the mod, and then guaranteed 9.5 without the mod, with day and a half, 2 days of battery, easy. So, it's a good battery in here, and for an iPhone, it definitely is up there. iPhones just have fantastic battery. Android users can say what they want, Windows, BlackBerry, whatever. The operating system is optimized so well that it's that good. It's really that good. So battery life, you should be able to make it through a couple of days with light use. If you're not a heavy user like me, you can definitely make it through 3 days probably with this phone right here. Not the 7. Now the 7, I'm so neat with my phones. I keep them boxed up. The 7, the little brother. The 7 is about half of that. This little guy is about half of this. This has a 1960, I think, in here. And I can pull down, now I have battery packs for this one. So with the 4,000 milliamp hour slim battery packs, I'm going days. It almost matches this one, actually. But it actually does match this one. So without the battery pack, I can pull down 7 hours probably. And 30 hours or so maybe. But with the battery pack, I'm knocking them down. I mean, it's 6,000 milliamps in here. Now you may think that's a lot and I can pull down just a whole gang. It's not like that, because the more battery you have, you use the phone a heck of a lot more. So pulling down probably 48 to 50 hours with the battery pack, 54 hours maybe. And then about 10 to 12 hours, 11 hours of usage. That's actually pretty doggone good. So, 7 and 7. Are they showing? Yeah. Both great phones. My favorite, though, is the iPhone 7 Plus, for sure. Now, where do these phones really fall short at? This probably shouldn't shock you. There's 2 more areas where it really falls short. And if you think I'm going to say price first, no, I'm not going to say price first. I'm going to say reception. Now, I know they wanted to hide the antenna lines, but every time I use this phone, I have had so many people tell me, I can't understand you, the call's cutting out. or I drop service all the time. Very frustrating. Very frustrating on both phones. And what I did was I tested the I just tested with other phones. The antenna setup on here, especially when you put a case on it, it's not that it just loses service all day long, but I had to use Wi-Fi calling in order to get good reception while I'm in my house, because when I take off Wi-Fi calling, it just goes downhill. And then when I leave the house, if I'm not in an area where the signal is at full blast, even then sometimes it's still just not good reception. And I blame it all on the way they have these antenna lines made, because the other iPhones that we have, great service. Great service. So, I don't know. I think it's definitely the way these antennas are done on this phone. The reception is not good. So before you guys say, well, that's just T-Mobile. Well, there's a Verizon one here too. If you know, I have Verizon also. So Verizon and T-Mobile SIM cards in there. Verizon small one, big one T-Mobile. But we do have other small ones on T-Mobile. But I will say the reception has not been the greatest. If you have either one of these phones, how's your reception been? Because I've tested it on Verizon and T-Mobile, and when I use my other phones, like I got my Moto G4 with my Verizon SIM card in it right now, since that phone is powered off, and the service is fantastic. No drop calls, no nothing. And with this phone, the antenna's the way it's built. I'm thinking that's got to be what it is. Especially when I put a case on it, it's just not very good reception. So that's been my experience. Now, the last thing is the price, obviously. These are very expensive phones. This is a 256 gig and this is a 32 gig. They're expensive. And they're way overpriced. I've said this in other videos. These are way overpriced. I mean, drastically overpriced for what they're bringing to the table. Which leads me to this thing about the Pixel XL and the Pixel. They're matched right up in line with these, and all of these phones are overpriced. Once you start to get into anything above $400, it's overpriced. Seriously. Because my other phones are in my cell phone bag, and some of them are over here. This phone right here, this Moto G, and I've got a ton of phones, but these are the ones that are sitting around. This is 100 to 200. This is 100 to 200. Both of these have fantastic reception. These do not. Both of these have fantastic price tags. These do not. Now, if you're an iPhone user, which I'm an iPhone user, I'm probably going to pick up every iPhone. The things that I'm calling out here, does it make it a phone that's not desirable? No. That's just my experience, my real world experience. I'll continue to use this one more than this one. But I'll always continue to use another phone above this one. This was in my number 1 SIM slot, and now it's not. It's in my number 3 slot for T-Mobile. No, 2 spot for T-Mobile, because that's my Verizon, and that's another phone over there. That's the Cricket phone. So number 3 slot behind my Moto line. Collector's item. Great resale value on this 256K. But is the iPhone good? Oh yeah, it's really good. Like that's my thumbnails. Like you like when I do my thumbnails? Like I'll be like way back here, and the phone's up here. No. The phone's good. If you want the best iPhone on the market right now, get this one or that one. You know, here. Let me be clear on this. If you don't have an iPhone, get one of these phones. That way you'll be able to compare which one you like the best for size. Because they both perform extremely well. If you do have an iPhone, depending on if you have a 6S or a 6S Plus, do not get this. Stay with what you have. It's not really worth the upgrade. Just keep your phone until it dies off, because the price of these are going to go down next year. But if you have a 6 and it's starting to break down on you, go ahead and upgrade to one of these. Anything below a 6 down, if it's starting to get old on you, you just don't want to deal with it anymore, get one of these. You'll be really happy with the performance. I'm telling people to get the Plus. I would tell anybody to get the Plus. I've noticed a lot of people, the size of your hand used to be something that people, oh, it's too big in my hand. That's not true anymore, because I see more women walking around with the Plus instead of the small one. Like, they love the Plus. They want it big. And they're getting the 256 gig. I've seen so many women that have at least the 128 gig. And they have the big one. Yeah, so the size of the phone, I think everybody wants a big screen size now, because the multimedia experience and the texting and email, just your overall experience is better on the bigger display and the bigger body. That's just the way it is. So overall, man, I think I give the iPhone 7 about an 8 for a solid score for me. You know, for an iPhone, yeah, this is probably the best iPhone, and that one of the small edition. These are the best that Apple has brought to the table. I know I left out that they're water resistant and all that, but you know, I'm not dunking my phone in water and stuff like I did with the Samsungs. I've done that before, just threw them in the water because I wanted to test it. But I'm not doing that with these. You know, these phones are, you know, those are things that they're coming to the table late with. The 2 speakers, the water resistance, you know, getting an extra gig of RAM. You know, these phones are good, but they're not knockdown, drag them out. Oh boy, that feeling wears off really fast. Really fast. And I talked about that after the hype. At least for me it does. I'm not saying for you it'll wear off. But seeing as though I have so many phones to choose from, that's probably why this wears off fast. I think iOS is best on a tablet. I think that's where it shines. My iPad Pro 9.7, if you were to spend a day with me, you would say, man, Jay, you never put that thing down. I'm editing, responding to emails, or gaming, all on that thing. So this phone is good. I give it a solid 8 at best, because the price is very expensive. And it's not really bringing anything new to the table for the rest of the market. For iPhone people, this is the cream of the crop. But I'm not just an iPhone fan. You know, I was bored probably after about 4 days or so. So I had to start doing stuff to spice it up. You know, I had to change the screen protectors, change the glass, and put different cases on every day. But that's just how I feel. How do you feel about your iPhone 7 Plus and iPhone 7? Do you like them? Are you going to upgrade again next year? What are you going to do? It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.